Hello again, and welcome to Talking Devils. I'm your host, Dave Murphy, and once again, I'm joined by former Manchester United and current Morecambe centre back Scott Wootton. Scott, how are you doing today? A bit of snow in the UK, I believe.
Yeah, heavy snow. The country, we go crazy when we get about 2 inches of snow. No one knows what to do. So yeah, but it's nice coming up to Christmas. Obviously got a young family, so they're getting excited, thinking obviously Christmas, Santa's coming and all that.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it's good, but yeah, a bit of snow and the weather seems to have really dropped there the last couple of days. It's been like, that bitter. Well, you probably don't know, but that bitter cold feeling is certainly here. So, but apart from that, mate, all good. Yourself?
No, I feel that. I mean, it dropped to 17 Celsius here yesterday. But we're rebuilding, as I said, at the moment. So, we'll get back to our usual weather. I think tomorrow's going to be 20 degrees. So still jacket weather, jeans, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We feel the same struggle, mate. All right, let's jump right into it. Chelsea won, Manchester United won. A point at Stamford Bridge where, in recent years, it hasn't been a very good, ground to us. In recent weeks, opposition teams haven't been very good to us either. Got absolutely smashed by Watford last week away. I saw the lineup, no Ronaldo. I had my doubts about that. I thought we were going to get another pasting, if I'm honest. Chelsea really on fire at the moment, sweeping teams aside, smashed Juventus during the week. But then, as we all know, Scott, you know more than anyone, new manager bounce, stuff like that. I know Carrick is only the interim until the interim comes in, but still players always seem to step up. Very one-sided game, if I do say so. I'm happy with a point, even though I hate dropping points. I'm happy with a point considering everything that's gone on in the past week. Manchester United won, Chelsea won. What was your view on the game itself?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid performance. I think the mentality of the team was to go there and obviously not get beat. I was the same as you. I was pretty surprised at the lineup. Obviously, no Ronaldo. Straight away you're raising your eyebrows and you're thinking, has that come from the new manager? Maybe what's gone on there. But I think it was pretty clear that the team went there, like you made a good point. Obviously, off the back of the Watford results, it was, we're not going to take Chelsea on. Like you say, Chelsea battered one of the top European teams in Juventus. I know they're not going well in their league at the minute, but they've still got quality players and a quality side. They battered them in the week. Chelsea, they were going top of the league. They're going high. It was the clear mentality of the group was to go there and not get beaten. I think you're seeing that. Pack obviously went with 4 central midfield players, packed the midfield. I mean, Chelsea did still play well. United rode the luck a bit at times, but I think coming off the back of a point at Stamford Bridge hasn't been a good ground for United over the years, as I know. So yeah, I think
I don't want to bring that up. I didn't want to.
I think you take a point before the game and move on.
A lot of controversy around the penalty. For me, I mean, the rules are the rules. We've seen penalties that have been given this season, last season with VAR and everything. As a defender yourself, are you disappointed with Wan-Bissaka? Or are you disappointed in the fact that the rules say that that's a penalty?
No, I just think it's a bit clumsy. I think the one thing you're always taught as a defender, or especially as you get older, is don't give the referee a decision. I mean, listen, I gave a penalty away at Stamford Bridge I still to this day don't think it was a penalty, but I can easily see why, because I gave the referee a decision to make. Wan-Bissaka did the same. He's, even if he gets a bit of the ball, when the legs are tangling and it's all so close, and he takes that, looks like that swipe, the noise of the crowd, the players, the referee gives you that. When you get to now with the VAR and they get to the chance to look back at these moments in slow motion and they look at it from all different angles, you can easily see why he's given a penalty. So just think it's difficult in the heat of the moment. You see the ball as a defender, automatically you think, I've got to clear this. Wan-Bissaka's thinking, I've got to smash this as far up the pitch as possible. But on the flip side, if it happened against United, you'd be wanting a pen all day long. So I don't think you can have it both ways. So I can understand why it's given a penalty.
I mean, the good news coming out of Stamford Bridge is Thiago Silva is not actually dead, even though it looked that way. But, you know, I'm glad there was a stand at one end of the stadium because the guy rolled so much, I thought he was going to roll into the Thames. So I'm happy there that he's okay. Jadon Sancho scored his first goal for Manchester United during the week, an absolute cracker. Got his first goal today, and not an easy goal. I mean, you know, a lot of times when a player is given that much time to think about, you know, because he was clean through, a lot of times we've seen players have bottled it, but a really, really cheeky finish in the end when you see it in slow motion when he kind of did a dummy to Rashford. Jadon Sancho has a history of starting off very slow in his Borussia Dortmund seasons, and then all of a sudden he explodes. Is this what we're going to see right now? The real Jadon Sancho that we thought we were buying in the summer?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. You know, the same with every fella watching United. Like you say, I think there's a history there of well, first and foremost, the history is stats, his numbers are incredible, off the charts, really, for a young wide player. And it just shows you, I think, getting that first goal in midweek, even though it wasn't in the league, it was in the Champions League, the confidence that will give him is invaluable. And I think often them attacking sort of flair players, they need that goal or that real good assist to give them that, to almost for him to stand up and be like, yeah, you know, this is what I've done in Germany. Now I'm ready to bring it to England, and that'll give him such a confidence boost that hopefully, you know, we'll see a different Jadon Sancho to the one we've seen in the early weeks of the season. Like I say, that goal midweek, he took his goal really well again today, and hopefully now he can continue that because, you know, a big fee, big pressure from what he'd done off the back of his record in Germany. It hasn't obviously worked out for him as we were all expected and wanted so far, but no, like I say, this week would have done his confidence the world of good, and you know, the German manager coming in, he would have seen him more than all of us. So I'm sure he'll find a way of getting the best out of him. So yeah, hopefully this week's been a huge turning point in his Man United career.
Big question, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo sitting on the bench. I mean, it's easy to say when you draw 1-1 at Chelsea and it is deemed a good result that it was the right decision. Cristiano Ronaldo is a hot topic at the moment for Manchester United, and especially with, you know, the new coach coming in, is very you know, his style of football. We're led to believe will not suit someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, his style of football is to chase people down and, you know, win the ball back as soon as possible rather than coming back and defend the ball. Cristiano Ronaldo, we all know, we've said this many times, best player in the world, one of the best players ever. Does Cristiano Ronaldo need to change his game to get into this team now? Because if we're looking at the future today, Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't actually, you know, fit into that style of play. Or are we looking at a situation whereby he's such a phenomenal player that, you know, players like him can just adjust to that? I just don't see Cristiano Ronaldo chasing balls around the pitch, even at 26, let alone 36. It's just not his style, and it's not the best way to utilize Ronaldo. For me, Ronaldo starts every game. That's just the way I am. You know, and Solskjaer said it, when you have people like Ronaldo on the pitch, you always have a chance, whether it's the first minute, whether it's the 90th minute. You know yourself, Scott, as a defender, we spoke about Ronaldo in the past. You said he would be an absolute nightmare. You can't turn off for 1 second. That's still the Ronaldo I see today, regardless of his age. He still has the fitness levels of a 24, 26-year-old. Does he fit into Ralph's new team?
Well, it'll be really, really interesting to see. I think off the back of the information we're led to believe, and you hear what the German coaches have spoke about him, and like you say, we're believed to I actually seen a quote that he said on the TV here today, saying that he's a big believer in the Jurgen Klopps, that Jurgen Klopp calls a heavy metal, rock and roll type football, and this is he sort of not created it, but he mentored it to Tuchel and Klopp, and you know, these young German coaches. And ultimately, if you're going off that, then you'll have to say that Ronaldo doesn't fit into it. Look, for his greats and the records and the Ballon d'Or, all for what Ronaldo's done, I don't think Jurgen Klopp would pick him. I don't think because if your team is wholly based around this high press and sprinting and all this, if you have one player, and especially if he's your central striker who's not going to do that, then you have to. The whole thing goes out the window. You've got to have 11 players all on the same page. Like, Ronaldo never done it. He used to have to get moved up front in big European games under Ferguson, and Rooney'd have to get put out wide because you knew that he wouldn't do the running back. And that was when he was, 25, 26, 27. Young, 24, 25 in his younger days. So he's certainly not going to do that now at 36. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how he manages him, because he's obviously a huge ego. In the dressing room, that's partly maybe why he conserves his energy for the key moments, which no one in world football can argue that he doesn't deliver the goods in the key moments. So it's down to the preference of the manager or the coach, I guess. Like I say, I believe that Klopp wouldn't play him. But
is Cavani a better suited striker in the new the new manager's thinking?
Maybe so, yeah, I think so. Because if this manager seems, from what I've read and what I've seen and the quotes I've seen on people speaking about him, he's got such a crystal clear vision of how he wants his team to play. And, German people are Jurgen Klopp is very strong-minded. Tuchel the same, black and white. So I don't think for 1 minute, if he's got this clear vision of he wants his teams on the front foot, pressing, 11 players sprinting for the ball, high press, all these fans, gegenpress, all these terms of closing down really high up the pitch, that requires lots and lots of sprinting, which Ronaldo's never done. So maybe Cavani, he might, the manager coming in might favour him, yeah. So, like I say, it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. Sorry, because we all know we just can't imagine Ronaldo being happy to a manager coming in who, let's be honest, hasn't won an awful lot in his career, for as good as people are speaking.
Yeah.
Ronaldo strikes me as the type of guy and the type of ego with what he's won, both as a personal and for the teams. Milan United, Real Madrid, Juventus, Portugal. He's won everything. So he's going to be thinking, how can this guy be coming in telling me what I've got to do and how I've got to play? And just be, like I say, it'd be really interesting to see how it plays out.
One of the biggest Achilles heel we have at the moment is our fullbacks. Luke Shaw didn't appear again today. Manchester United are talking about concussion from 2 weeks ago, but yet he started the game after he got the concussion. Wasn't in the squad at all today. Telles was playing. Wan-Bissaka, let's be honest, is having an absolute nightmare. Dan brings up a good point. Our issues remain, though. That's our fullbacks can't really attack or defend well enough. I mean, I've never been a fan of Wan-Bissaka going forward, but I've always been a fan of Wan-Bissaka defender. I think up until this season, I believe that he was the best defending right back in the league. That's not saying he's the best defender overall, but the best defender for me has been him. Dan brings up a good point. Our attacking options, as defenders is not great. Luke Shaw, after the Euros, we spoke about this the last time. He's come back a completely different player. I mean, he's a shadow. Harry Maguire as well, although he's a centre back. But those two players have come back from the Euros, have having a really good Euros, and haven't been playing at all. How do we fix, as a defender, our right back, left back issues? They're not very good going forward, and as of late, they're not very good at defending. I mean, is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think it's spot on. I agree. I think Wan-Bissaka has always had question marks. I don't think he's ever shown at Palace or United is that quality in the final third, or that touch, or that real just quality, I guess, from crossing areas or 1v1, and that's fine. Maybe that's just not the player he is. He like you say, I completely agree. 1v1 defending for 2 or 3 years, Palace, and when he first come to United, I've never seen anyone get the better of him. He just had them really long legs, and he just get his foot round from anywhere. And like I say, I've never seen anyone get past him. So when that does happen, then that's when the question marks come in, like they are now, because they're saying, well, he doesn't bring anything going forward, and if you're not doing your job defensively. Because you can always put up with one. I remember Raphael was a superb fullback going forward, but he always had his question marks defensively. But because he was given so much attacking wise, and United were obviously a much more attacking team, you sort of not accept, but you sort of let a few defensive things go. Whereas Wan-Bissaka, you sort of say, well, okay, he's not great going forward, but he's defensively so good. It's very rare, there's not even Patrice Evra, what a player he was. He had his question marks defensively, letting people run inside him sometimes. There was a few players who constantly got the better of him 1v1. There's not many Gary Nevilles about, or really top full. Even, listen, I know I keep going about Liverpool, but Trent, arguably one of the best fullbacks in world football in terms of his quality and his assist, his passing. But again, huge question marks defensively. So it's very rare you get both. I just think when your strength starts to falter a bit, that's when obviously the huge question marks come. In terms of how you solve it, I don't think you're ever going to get Wan-Bissaka to be a marauding attacking fullback. I just don't think it's in his makeup. I don't think he's got them attributes. I think he is a solid 1v1 defender. And on the other side, it's interesting actually. I seen Gary, he was talking more about Harry Maguire, but Gary Neville was saying it happened to him once when he had such a good Euros, and because of the lack of rest and the relentlessness of the English season, game after game, he called it a post-Euros syndrome. And I think Maguire and Shaw, I think they both played really, really well last season for United. They both had really good Euros. And I just think the physical input, the mental input, the lack of rest, you come back and for no particular reason, you're probably not doing anything different in the training, anything different in the preparation, but things just aren't going right. And listen, I've never played in the Euros or obviously anything like that, but listening to the people who have and what they've said from their experience, I think they're just going through that. I believe them two especially will turn a corner and wherever it is, they'll come back and be top players for United, I believe, Shaw and Maguire.
Well, I mean, I think Harry Maguire needs maybe a week off on a vacation. Just hopefully he doesn't choose Greece this time.
Yeah, but honestly, something like that could be the best thing for him. Just go away, have a rest. Don't do anything physically, mentally switch off. And honestly, it's amazing what that can do for a player. I think when you listen, since he got rushed back, there was a game on it. He played, and it was at Leicester away. He should never have played.
Yeah,
and I think
he should have never played that game.
Yeah, he obviously clearly wasn't fit, but there's no hiding place when you're playing at that level. It's all over TV. Your performance, every bit of your performance is analysed and scrutinised. So he would have lost confidence from that, knowing that even though he knew he shouldn't have played, probably because he wasn't fit. But then he's had a massive drop off in confidence. His forms clearly, he's not playing anywhere near as good. So that a week away could be the best thing for them.
I mean, you mentioned Trent Alexander, and you made a very good point. Is that when it's going good? Because for me, I think he's a very bad defender. Every team that play against Liverpool, that's where they concentrate their attacking on is down his side. But because he's racking up the assists, he's scoring some goals. It's kind of hidden. And Wan-Bissaka, while he was playing very well as a defender, his attacking side, although there was, people were still criticizing him on social media, the media wasn't really going after him. The media will go after him now. I know they will. And that's the fine line between either being on the good side or the bad side of the media. I mean, for me personally, I think we have a couple of players that need a rest. Harry Maguire is one, and I think Bruno Fernandes is another. Bruno Fernandes today, I've always people have criticised Bruno for giving the ball away a lot. For me, it's always, he's only one of the players that will try something. He's the only one that will try that long pass. He will try that, instinctive little touch around the corner and stuff like that. But now, because his form has dipped a little bit, he falls into that bracket as well. He's now getting criticised. I personally think, Bruno Fernandes, he has to play, because what other options do we have? People talk about Donny van de Beek. I get it. I really do. But Bruno Fernandes, his numbers stand out. Fernandes had a very, very quiet game again today. He gave away a few silly mistakes. I believe he got booked as well. For me, if any player needs a rest, and I don't believe he's the type of player that will accept a rest, it's Bruno Fernandes. What do you think has been, the reason for his, quite alarming demise this season?
Yeah, I think I'd probably put him in the same category as Shaw and Maguire. I just think it's probably happened so often. It's obviously highlighted now because we're always talking about Man United, but it's probably happened in all clubs for all players who have had tough summers, because it's such a long, tough season. They have no holiday straight after the season because they're joining up with the international teams. They're constantly still training every day, so you're not switched off. Mentally, you're thinking about this big tournament. Then you're playing in the tournament, so physically you're still going, mentally you're still going, and then before you know it, you're back in pre-season. You might get a week off. That's nowhere near enough really for how much the output is. And like I say, I just think mentally, as much as anything, you just need that little break, that little switch off, and then it's like anyway. Even in normal work, everyone goes on holiday, they come back they feel great, don't they? You feel so refreshed, and football's the same. So yeah, I do think maybe a break could be the best thing for him. Again, I go back similar to Wan-Bissaka when he's constantly given the ball. I don't feel like his game has. Listen, his form obviously has dropped, but even when he was getting the goals and the assists, he was still sort of giving loads of balls away, trying passes.
Yeah.
Just say you can accept that because he's racking up the goals and the assists. So then when the goals and the assists stop coming, it gets highlighted even more because you can no longer look past, he's contributing assists and he's getting goals. So you'd automatically think, he's having a really bad game. And, a lot of it is often down to the strikers. If he's putting balls into places and the strikers don't finish it, he doesn't get the numbers, he doesn't get the assists. But again, there's no doubt he's had a drop off, and you just can't have as many players drop off as Man United have and expect to be competing for anything really.
Moving on to the news during the week, still hasn't been confirmed, which I'm not surprised because we had a game this weekend. I didn't expect Manchester United to make it official until they can officially put him in charge, which is probably going to be today or tomorrow. Ralf Rangnick is allegedly the new Manchester United manager for the next 6 months, and then after that he's moving into a consultancy role, which was basically the delay in actually getting him in. He didn't just want to come in as an interim coach. He wanted to actually have some kind of role after that. I think me personally, I'm absolutely stunned that Manchester United are now making footballing decisions and not business decisions. Imagine that. Imagine a football club actually making a football decision. And not just a football club, but the biggest football club in the world. I think this is an absolutely fantastic signing for Manchester United for the short term and the long term. We obviously still have to figure out who our manager is going forward next year. But when this whole mess, was unraveling, my honest opinion was that we should get somebody in for the next 6-7 months or whatever and take our time in making the correct appointment. Be that Pochettino if the club want to go there, or my favourite, Ten Hag. I don't think Brendan Rodgers, for me, I think we were just taking a sidestep with him. And I do believe we would have got him if we had to approach Leicester. So, this seems to be very smart footballing decisions by Manchester United. Scott, what's going on?
It's about time, isn't it? Yeah. I echo a lot of that, really. I like the fact of they haven't just panicked and gone and got someone for the sake of it, because it's obviously clear that they didn't want to sack Ole Gunnar, but it got to a stage where they obviously felt it was that bad. They had to. So there was nothing in place. So I like it from the point of view of they haven't just panicked and gone and got Zinedine Zidane because then if you're Zinedine Zidane, you can ask for anything. If he wanted a 4-year contract on an absolute fortune, United are in such a panic, they'd have to give it to him. So there's no panic appointment, but I also like it in fact that it hasn't dwindled on and it's just become a bit of a laughing stock. Do you know what I mean? They've sort of got the balance right in between the middle of them. His reputation is incredible from what we hear and what people, top coaches, Tuchel, Klopp, albeit rivals of United, but they speak so highly of the guy.
Klopp came out and said during the week it's bad news for everyone else, that they have him in. And I know words are easy, but if we're to believe the media reports, Klopp's type of football, Tuchel's type of football came from, Rangnick's type of philosophy and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now it's easy for us to naturally think, all of a sudden now we're going to be this great. I'm not that easily led.
It won't work like that.
We have to have a starting point, though. Liverpool took 4 years to win a trophy. I know we're constantly saying that. It took X amount of years. Football has changed and evolved so much these days. But I think this is a great starting point for Manchester United. We may look back on this in a couple of years' time and go, yep, you know what? That was the right idea. I do remember back in the 90s, I believe, when France completely ripped up the whole football rule book on their side for their international team and decided, for the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be pants. We're going to get smashed by everyone, but we have a philosophy. We're going to build an academy. And, now they've won, I think, 2 World Cups since then, and they're constantly producing players all the time because they took the time to go, screw it. We're doing for the next couple of years, but trust me, in the end, it's going to be worth it. Are we hoping, or are we looking at a situation like that where we draw a line in the sand and go, okay, for the next couple of years, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but we're starting the building blocks?
Well, I think we certainly hope it doesn't get much worse than
yeah, can it get worse?
5-0 at Liverpool, City. Let's hope it doesn't get worse. But no, I just think it's been crying out for someone like him in the background.
Yeah.
For many years, someone who's going to, hope, like you say, appoint a new manager. Ed Woodward for his amazing work as he's done on the commercial side of the club in terms of the turnover and the money he makes. That doesn't mean that football's such a unique and specific sport.
We've never had football people at the top, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, so Ed Woodward is famed for his amazing commercial work, but he's just not a football person. That was clear from the appointments. One thing I'm amazed is how Alex Ferguson was never that person from the get-go. I can understand why people would not maybe want him as the sort of figurehead overlooking him, but maybe once the first manager goes and Moyes goes, he could have came in, or he was at least be consulted. The rumours you hear is that he wasn't asked or given any advice for anything really, which is sad to see. But like I say, it's good to finally see that there will be that person in place who hope. I hope he also come in and say he's going to make the signings, who's going to bring people to the clubs, coaching staff. Is it all going to be on him? Is he going to delegate people to do that stuff? At least, like you say, there seems to be an hour, or he's going to be given the reins to start making these clear plans of moving forward. Because, like you say, it doesn't really get it doesn't get much worse, really, does it?
Dan has made a good point, which I've been bleating on about to anyone that wants to listen to me, is that I personally believe we have a very, very good squad, and I felt that we were in the same position Chelsea were, when Frank Lampard was there, a very inexperienced coach who had hit a wall. Chelsea made the decision. He brought in Tuchel, who now has them firing on all cylinders, albeit they couldn't beat us today. Firing on all cylinders. Was this a case whereby we could see this with Rangnick coming in? And basically, not turning us into a Chelsea overnight, but, obviously making us a hell of a lot better, because I personally believe we do have a very, very good team. I do believe that. I do believe we have a very, very good squad. Are we looking at it? Are we hoping, blind faith that he can do that, because we are in a very similar situation as Chelsea,
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think there is an awful lot of similarities. I think Chelsea spent big on some young prospects like Havertz that summer. United have done the same with Sancho. Obviously, they brought in Varane. Chelsea took Lampard, signed Thiago Silva, top experienced players. When you actually think about that, there is a lot of Lampard. It just didn't seem to click under Lampard. He was chopping, changing shape a lot from what I can remember. He was playing 3 at the back, 4-2-3-1, similar to Ole. Yeah, certain games he's changed shape. You think of the Tottenham game off the back of Liverpool, whereas Tuchel come in and it was, no, this is the way I do it. He's all got to buy into it. He's obviously clearly got all the players, not just the 11 players, but all the squad buying into exactly how he wants to play, how he wants to work. And I wouldn't say he transformed them overnight, but like you see, he clearly made them a lot better team. Obviously spent a lot of work on the training ground with them. And yeah, why can't this guy do that? He's constantly being coaching. He's managed. He's got huge amounts of experience. I'm sure that, the United lads, hopefully if they buy into it, then I'm sure they will improve. What I think he's got to do is he's got to sort of, because he's only there to the end of the season, the only difference he might have from Klopp and Tuchel is he's got to probably try and figure out the best way to play with the players he's got. I think them coaches, especially Klopp, Guardiola, they have, this is how I do it. This is the best way. This is how me and my teams play. And if you're not good enough or you don't buy into it, you can move on, and I'll bring someone in who does. This manager's obviously going to move upstairs after the end of the season. So does he just? is he going to come in and say, no, this is my beliefs, this is the way we play? How will that affect, like you say, the Pogba's, Ronaldo's, Fernandes's? Or is he going to think, right, this is the squad of players I've got. I've only got January. Is it worth going to spend a load of money for me to stamp my authority on the team for 6 months? But then you could argue and say, well, the next manager he brings in could also be of the same sort of philosophy and mindset of what he's got. So these are all the questions that'll be going on at the club, I'm sure. But yeah, I think there's no doubt that he can come in and improve the team straight away. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the backroom staff, if he brings his own people in, if he keeps the remaining people who obviously worked under Ole. So yeah, obviously time will tell, but it's hopefully an exciting time for the players and for the fans.
So, I mean, one of the biggest complaints that we've had is that Ole has gone, but his coaching staff has stayed behind. And you threw out that question, was he going to keep these guys? I did read a very good article to say that there is a lot of thought process in keeping them and turning them into very, very good coaches, the way he did with Klopp and with Tuchel and people like that. I mean, there is some legs in that story. It's easy just to rip it all up. But David Moyes did that, and it was a disaster. He didn't keep anyone around. But then again, there's also the argument that keeping all these people around, is it going to change their mentality? And the good thing about this is that, he's here for 6 months as the manager, but he's moving upstairs to make the big footballing decisions, is what we're led to believe. So any players that kind of have the attitude of, well, and this can happen at clubs. We all know that, well, he's not really the boss, is he? Because he's going to be gone in 6 months. This will be a completely different, attitude then, because they know that he's still going to be around and he's still going to be making the decisions. I think it was a very well thought out plan, which is also, why I'm very, very surprised by it all. Is there a chance that if things go well, that all of a sudden now they make him manager? I mean, we're Manchester United. Look at the past couple of years. Anything is possible.
Well, that was the original Ole, wasn't it? I don't think the original plan was to keep Ole on. I think he was probably coming in to do a similar thing without obviously moving upstairs. But he actually done that well as interim manager, caretaker.
He won 8 or 9 games on the bounce. You know,
unbelievable. The PSG game was incredible. He done that well. You'd almost had to give him the job. Now, maybe they thought, well, we've done that before, so let's not just say he's coming to the end of the season. Maybe Ralph Rangnick might prefer to be upstairs. So I noticed the club he's at now. I don't think he's the first team manager, is he? As such, I think he's doing that type of role. So maybe he's past the sort of managing every day on the grass, coaching days, and he prefers that type of role. And he sees obviously huge potential. I mean, I'm sure anyone in that type of job role would love to have that job at Man United, with the resources and the current squad that he's got. So maybe partly it was him. It's probably clever from the club. It gives them 6 months, or longer than 6 months now, to be tapping into the agents, to the managers, seeing if they're happy at the clubs. Obviously, like you said, you mentioned the two obvious candidates of Ten Hag and Pochettino. For me personally, I would go Pochettino. You say you go Ten Hag.
It's okay. I'll edit that part out.
No, I just think he knows the Premier League. He's managed PSG. Have got huge expectations. I know the French league isn't up to much, but I don't think the Dutch league really is either.
No, that's a fair point.
And I just think, I think you'd only realise how good he'd done at Tottenham when you look at Tottenham before and after him.
Yeah,
that's one thing that just sticks out to me. I think he was so close with that Tottenham team. The year Leicester won the league, Champions League final, constantly, and it wasn't even a question really if Tottenham were going to make Champions League under Pochettino. Yeah, he didn't win a trophy. We all know that. But it just shows you, since he's left and before he took the job, what he did with that Tottenham team was incredible. I think the way he played, he brought young players through. It ticks all the boxes of what Man United have done in terms of, like I say, bringing young players through, playing front foot, attacking football, fast play. I don't know enough about Ten Hag really. But I've gone off topic a bit there. Going back to the original question, I don't think they will probably, no matter how well he does. I think they'll stick to the original decision because off the back of what's obviously happened with Ollie.
As a professional footballer yourself, I'm sure you've been in teams where the manager has been changed throughout the season, or a new manager has come in, or you've gone to a new team and a new manager has come in. So the question I have is, Rangnick's coming in now. We're led to believe this week. Between now and January, there's like 150 games that teams have to. There's that's an exaggeration, but there's a lot of games coming thick and fast. Is this a good time for him to be coming in? Because games are going to keep coming quick and fast, or will he not have enough time to actually get his ideas out onto the pitch, because you're constantly, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Saturday, and then over the Christmas period, a manager like him, like one of the things Klopp and Pep have said when they came to the UK was like how crazy it is that all these games are being played, but that's what we're used to. That's what we love as supporters. We love our Boxing Day games. We love our New Year's games. We love our game a couple of days before. It kind of makes Christmas a good time of year for football. But is this a good time for him to come in to be able to create his own thinking and his way of playing? I mean, if you're in that team and a new coach comes in, how long does it take for a coach to get his idea? Because us as supporters, we think, well, it takes a day or two. He puts it up on the board and he goes, you're here. Lingard, you're in West Ham. Let's get out here and let's move. How long does it take for a manager to actually implement his thought process and get the players to buy into it? Is this a good time for that? Or is it like it could have been, it would have been better after Christmas when, he has more time on the training pitch?
Yeah, I think it's far from ideal from that point of view. Obviously, like you say, what we hear about is philosophy and the way he wants to play. Anyone trying to completely change it in how a team plays, it needs time. Some obviously managers work a lot quicker than others. Tuchel, some managers might just look at it and do slight tweaks. But from what we're hearing about Ralph Rangnick, and it's a similar style to Klopp, United are one of the lowest running teams in the league this season.
Yeah.
If he's trying to get these players, you can't just flick a switch and all of a sudden they, off the back of what you're saying, he's pointing on a tactics board. It's just not going to work. It's going to take time for them to up the fitness levels. That takes time in training. It's not just a case of saying, right, we're going to play high press and Sancho, you're going to sprint 30 meters to close him down. Ronaldo, you're going to sprint 30 meters to close him. That takes time. It's all got to be in tune. There's going to be a couple of games where they'll get it wrong. So it is a long process. But like I say, a lot of it takes time on the training pitch, videos, video analysis, video in the training, video in games, reviewing the games, showing the players what he liked, what he didn't like. I think it highlights the job Tuchel done at Chelsea is fantastic, really, and how he done it all in that one season. But like I said, one of the biggest things for me in terms of the running stats, if he's trying to go high press, that'll take, I hope I'm wrong, but he'll have to get the players fitter, he'll have to get them running more. Like I say, I just don't believe you can flick a switch and go from being one of the least running sides in the division to all of a sudden being top. I'd be amazed if I seen that.
Well, I mean, I think it's a to end on the ranking note, I think it's a very positive signing for Manchester United. I think you agree with that. I think most people agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of us, don't know a hell of a lot about him other than what we've read about him over the past couple of months, and then obviously in the past week. He seems to be, a very astute and very, a very good coach, and he has a certain way of playing. That's one of the things we've lacked over the past 6-8 months. I think as Ole started to panic, we lost focus on, there was games where, you and I talked off air now. We had no clue what way we were playing. I mean, what are we trying to do here? How are we trying to play? How are we trying to set up? It was kind of just like a bunch of guys in the local park with, jumpers for goalposts type of thing. And, that's the way it felt. But this guy has his own way of playing. I do believe it's going to take a bit of time. I do believe we've got to have a bit of patience. But I think in the long run, we could see ourselves set up to be, to be on the path to where we actually deserve to be as a club. And that's at the very top. Scott, I want to just, finish off. Not the best results yesterday, on the back of, two very good results. A draw with a very good Charlton side, and then you guys won 2-1 away at Fleetwood last week. Yesterday, 4-0 at home.
That is a season in 1 week. The emotions of a season,
isn't it? A winner, draw, and a loss.
94th minute winner from a goal in our own half from Cole Stockton. The highs of the emotion to a 2-2 draw in the midweek to a 4-0 drubbing at the weekend where you're low as a snake's belly. That's just football. It's like I always say, it's so important not to, obviously, listen, we have to learn from, put things right and change, maybe tweak certain things. And it's never good getting beat 4-0 at home.
Well,
but last week we were on top of the air, in a derby game, winning 2-1. It's crazy. There's so many games. We've got the FA Cup next week. It's just, you can't get, of course, be disappointed, but you can't be down in the dumps when you lose, and you can't be high as a kite when you win. So, yeah, been a decent week, 4 points. Not too bad, but it's important. We learn, but we don't dwell on Saturday.
You got a big game coming up next week, as you said, FA Cup. Whoever wins this, obviously goes into the hat with the Premier League teams. It's by no means an easy game, and especially, this is the semi-final for a lot of teams lower down the leagues. This is it. This is the one that could make or break financially the club for the next 3 or 4 years. You get a team that's like the team you guys are playing.
I was just going to say it's obviously a big game.
Massive for them. Massive for them.
Imagine what it's like for them.
Not only are they playing like a Division 1 team like yourselves, but the reward then is they could get anybody. So they're really going to have it about them. They can't lose really, other than lose the game. There's no pressure on them. How are you guys approaching this game? Because it's on BBC. I'm going to try and see if I can get it hooked up to the TV here. So I need goal number 2. I need Barton making that cake. So how do you feel about next week's game?
Yeah, listen, we're obviously confident going into the game. It's a game that, in terms of the levels and the quality, we should win, but like you say, that gives Buxton absolutely nothing to lose, So it's on AstroTurf, which is
I didn't know that.
Is not what we're used to playing on. We obviously play on grass. Yeah, it's on AstroTurf, which will be difficult. They're obviously used to playing on it. It's on TV. It's a place in the third round, and as we see every single year in the FA Cup, teams have knockouts and upsets, and anything can happen. It's a one-off game, no replays, all these things. But listen, we've got to go, and if our attitude, I think you'd always believe, if you're a team in a higher division, played many of these games over the years, if the attitude right and the mentality is right to the squad, and you approach the game in the right way, then usually you should be okay. If we go in thinking, we're playing Buxton, who are in X amount, and you take it for granted, this will be easy. Like you say, it's a huge game for them. That's when you'd often come unstuck. So, listen, I'm sure if we get the attitude right, then we'll be okay. Yeah,
it's a mad. Like I said, if God forbid they beat you guys and then they get Liverpool or United or Arsenal in the next round, all of a sudden they've got enough money to survive for the next 5, 6, 7 years. This is why I love the FA Cup, and I love the format of it. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that we get to the third round and anyone can get anyone. I always believe the Champions League should be like that as well. You should be able to get anyone from anywhere, from any division that's won their league and gone in. But obviously TV money and the TV rights and that stuff like that has ruined that. Just to finish off, we go back to Mr. Barton, even guys, Dave, I'm with you. He didn't do it 10 years ago. He doesn't do it now. This is talking about Ronaldo running around. A great coach will make necessary adjustments. I think what Wayne is trying to say is that he's a big fan of Ronaldo, and the fact that, you don't agree with him, you may want to get someone to taste that cake when he does eventually make it, when you get those 5 goals. Because Wayne's a big believer in Ronaldo. He thinks that, I do. I'm kind of half on the fence there. The great coach will try and make it there's only certain players, though. There's only certain players that, and I think you would agree with that the likes of Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, all these guys are guys that you have to make adjustments for, right?
Yeah, listen, absolutely. But what I'm saying, the point I was trying to make was, if this coach is so strong-minded of this is how I play, this is what I want. When Sancho presses from right wing, the centre forward has got to sprint, and Ronaldo's he's never done that. Like Wayne says, he didn't do it 10 years ago. Why is he going to do it at 36? Listen, he might do, but then his mentality, I believe, watching him over the years, Real Madrid, Messi's the same. You watch them. I watched PSG Man City the other night, and Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. What they've done off the ball is just it's just non-existent. Now, like I say, some coaches can allow that. Some coaches will say, "Do you know what? We'll sacrifice Messi and Mbappe and Neymar, Ronaldo, because they're that good. We can put up with them not defending, but because we know when we get the ball, they'll produce the goods." But if that's not this coach's philosophy, then I just don't see how it works. I'm not. Listen, I would play Ronaldo. I think he's that good. You've got to play him. But the point I was making is, if Ralph Rangnick's so strong-minded of this is how I play, like Klopp, like Guardiola. You know, Guardiola got rid of Zlatan Ibrahimovic at Barcelona because he didn't fit into how he wanted to play. Jurgen Klopp was, again, very bullish of how he wants to play. He took his time to get his team. You know, Firmino's come under huge question marks, but he constantly plays because he's that strong-minded of what he does off the ball in terms of his pressing, his sprinting, his hard work. He warrants him a place in the team. So, yeah, that's why
he's in trouble.
So interesting. Pardon?
I play Ronaldo in every team, but you know, if I take my favoritism away, I think Ronaldo
you've got to take our opinions and our emotions, or our thoughts out of it. You've got to think, for what we're led to believe of the new coach, if that's how he wants to play, I just don't see how Ronaldo, his makeup, his attributes, for as great and amazing as he is, he's not a presser, he's not a workhorse. So I just, like I say, it'd be really, really interesting to see what he does. You know, I seen something today. I think Gary Neville might have said after the game, he thinks that team was picked by Ralph Rangnick because it was so different to what Michael Carrick has worked with and what he went with in midweek.
And that was, you know, there was a lot of rumors on social media that Darren Fletcher had an earpiece in and was constantly going and talking to Michael Carrick. You know, I mean, these are all conspiracy theories that Rangnick was running the team. But you make a good point that didn't look like a Michael Carrick team, even though we've only seen one team, which was only a couple of days ago. But me personally, I love Ronaldo. I think we should have him in the team. But if someone said to me, "Who do you think is in trouble?" I believe Ronaldo is. I think Rangnick may go with Cavani because Cavani will chase air. He'll just chase everything down. I do believe that Ronaldo, if like we've agreed that if he's coming in with that German mentality, it's either black or it's white. That's it. I don't have any grey areas. But then you're talking about Ronaldo, but then you've also said that if 11 players have been given that philosophy and one's not doing it, then it may not work at all. So, Wayne's getting back in me. I was disagreeing with Dave, not Scott. Great point, Scott. You see, this is what I got to put up with, dude. I do. I personally think Ronaldo, if anyone's at risk in that forward line, I think it's him. But then again, he's not that type of player. So time will tell whether he can work around that or whether he's going to go, you know what, if you're not going to chase, Cavani will literally chase anything. So I'm going to put him in. So you need to adapt your game. Maybe we get that. I don't know. I don't want to think about not having Ronaldo on the team. That's my I really don't. So anyway, to finish off, best of luck next week. We got a big game last thing. We got a big game on Thursday against Arsenal. How do you see that going? Arsenal come into a bit of form. 3 games into the season, they were bottom with no points. Now they're above Manchester United. Anything can change. Manchester United starting to come into a bit of form. I mean, we've had a win. We've had a very tough draw. We're at home Thursday night. New manager will more likely be in place then. How do you see that one panning out at Old Trafford?
I think I'm more just looking forward to see what's going to happen over the next few days. And if we're led, all the rumours are that strong, I think it's only a matter of time before he is announced. I'd just be more excited to see what he can change in such a short space of time. Are we going to see the team sprinting all over the pitch, closing people down? Is he going to have that effect so fast? That's what I'm more looking forward to, really. Arsenal, like you say, have in a good run of form themselves. Even that, you look at that now, how long it took Arteta to finally get some. It took him a few transfer windows.
Yeah.
It took him a while to get all the players buying into how he wants to play. These things take time. But for that game, personally, I'm just looking forward to seeing what impact the new manager or new coach could have.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to most. I mean, Michael Carrick has done a hell of a lot better than that I thought he was going to do. I mean, when we left all that coaching staff behind, it blew my mind, and then he made that big decision midweek with Bruno Fernandes, and he made a even bigger decision today, if it was his decision, to leave out Ronaldo, and he's got 2 very good results out of it. Maybe Carrick's at the wheel, no? I definitely don't want to see that. Scott, as always, we appreciate your time. Best of luck next week. Thanks, definitely be tuned in. Get back into the starting team. Win the 3rd round. I want to see you, marking Ronaldo at Old Trafford.
He won't be playing.
Good point. Will he not be playing because he doesn't get picked, or because he doesn't want to come up against you? I mean, that's the debate out there at the moment. So, all right, mate, as always, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and people that are listening in, appreciate it. Anyone that's looking at this on iTunes or all the other apps that we're on, appreciate it. Leave myself and Scott some comments. Appreciate all the questions. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Talk to the Devils, and we'll see you next week, hopefully with a new manager in place and a couple of solid wins.